Welcome back to my channel, Check the Facts. I have no doubt that this video is going to make a lot of people angry, and it's because those people are probably not going to watch the whole thing. The videos I put out are made to make you think and question what you're hearing, so that you don't settle for what the media tells you to believe. They already botched so many terms that nothing makes sense anymore. Watch my video on Islamophobia because I can clear that up real quick. I chose a small clip from a Steven Crowder video because he made a point that a lot of people are not listening to. He set up shop at a Texas campus and wrote, "Rape culture is a myth, change my mind." And suddenly people are like, la la la, let's stone him. He's saying rape is not real. Let's get down and cry like little girls. Because the only two words that they're paying attention to is rape and myth, and they put those two words together and they're thinking, well, this guy's saying rape is a myth, as proven in this video when he talks to this girl on campus, and instead of being a decent human being about it, she starts off by swearing at him. She's too much of a puffed up marshmallow to take a moment and listen to what he has to say before making a final judgment. And she hasn't been listening to anything he's been saying throughout the entire video, because rather than having an open mind, she already made up her mind that he is absolutely saying rape is a myth. So after this short clip, I'm going to break this down in smaller pieces so that you can understand what he is saying, and I'm going to add a few things of my own as well.
Hey everyone, this idiot ass is back on campus!
Or that.
How are you?
My name is Macy and I've been raped.
I'm sorry.
Throughout her time talking, she makes it a point to constantly say to anyone passing by that she has been raped.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so are you really gonna sit on my campus and tell me that rape culture is a myth today?
Yes.
I don't feel like I need to change your mind because...
Why?
Have you ever been raped?
I've not been raped.
Well, then I mean, can I change your mind by saying I've been raped and a good majority of my friends have been raped, so...
No, that wouldn't be a convincing argument. I am very sorry. No. No, I think the...
Do you think rape culture is a myth?
Yes.
Why? Tell me why.
Well, would you like to sit down?
I don't generally consider myself an idiot asshole, but just for her sake, I'll play one on TV. This time I allowed her to assume that I know nothing so that she could teach me.
Thank you. We got a bunch of cameras outside. What's your name?
Macy.
Macy. Nice to meet you, Macy.
Nice to meet you.
So you just yelled this idiot is on campus. And
did.
So do you... First, I want to... You're obviously aware of what we've done here.
I'm aware.
What changed my mind is. Yeah, rape culture. I guess we need to define... How do you define rape culture first?
I define rape culture as an area, a general area where people think that they can take advantage of other people due to certain situations, which sometimes include like places like college campuses where there's a big congregate of people drinking and they're not sure where the level of consent is.
Okay. So would it be fair to characterize rape culture as something, certainly as it's been, I guess, sort of described in academic circles, the idea, a societal or a patriarchal society where rape is either encouraged or tolerated?
Like what? It doesn't have to be a male that rapes a female. Like it can be either way, but...
I didn't say that.
Okay, well, what's your question?
Well, that's the idea of rape culture, the idea that rape is, and you sort of echoed that. I want to make sure we both agree to start with, that it's a society or a culture at large where rape is either promoted, encouraged, or tolerated.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't agree.
Can you tell me why?
Statistically, it doesn't bear out. We charge rapists. We put them in jail. Rape is a very rare crime, and I don't believe that we live in a culture that supports or condones rape or tolerates it.
But what about the fact that so many rapists don't go to jail? I know plenty of people. I've reported my rapist. He didn't go to jail. Many of my friends have reported their rapists. They didn't go to jail. Like, I actually literally don't know of people my age, anybody who's gone to jail, who has been apprehended. There are boys on this campus. I've been sexually assaulted.
Sexually assaulted and rape are two different things. I don't know her background and I can't make assumptions, but it does make me question if she truly has been raped or sexually assaulted or harassed, or if something was attempted and did not succeed and she is calling it rape.
By a boy on this campus who walks around and goes to class every single day. So how is that
really clear? First off,
apprehension?
well, there's anecdotal right? And then there's the empirical data. So I want to get away from me speaking for all men or people who are sort of right-leaning, and you speaking for all women or sort of advocates of a more progressive worldview. You might need to adjust your phone. I think someone's calling and it slipped down there. I want to make sure you get a good shot.
Thank you.
You went from rape, it's interesting to me, to sexual assault.
Yes.
First off, I think, again, it's very important that we define the terms. There's a delineation between the two. Would we agree?
Yeah, but would you say that like sexual assault isn't like a part of rape?
No, sexual assault is a part of rape, but someone can commit some kind of sexual assault or sexual harassment and it not be rape. So I'm probably pretty sure you don't want to get into your personal experience on camera. If you do, we can. But again, it goes back to the question, this idea that we support or we tolerate or we encourage rape, or that it's occurring in numbers that are out of the ordinary. Proportionally to other crimes, rapists are convicted at about the same rate as armed robbers, for example. Do we have an armed robbery culture? Rape is a horrible, terrible, heinous crime. For you to think that did you really think that I didn't know who Brett Kavanaugh was?
I really didn't. Honestly, at this point, like, I'm unsure what you actually know.
Right. Yeah. The whole reason was I was hoping for you to sit down, and you see now, if you go back, every single thing I told you I didn't know, because I wanted you to explain to me. You've explained nothing. You've presented no evidence or data. The only time you've addressed evidence or data is saying that it's bullshit, to use your words, and it doesn't matter. The amount of rapes matter. The conviction rates matter. What we do with rapists matters. And when you come out and you say we live in a rape culture, and you compare Dr. Christine Ford's allegations, let's say we have no idea whether they're true or not. Zero evidence whatsoever from 35 years ago. You can't run an investigation whether who, what, when, where, or why. We have none of it. To then use that as a springboard to say that we live in a rape culture, I think is intellectually disingenuous, and I think it does a great disservice to people who've actually been the victim of a horrible crime.
Yeah, I'm aware because I've been a victim to that crime, and as you say, like, you haven't. And like you said, you didn't know what a uniform crime report is, and so maybe if you...
I also said I didn't know who Brett Kavanaugh was.
So, I mean, maybe you do know what that is, so then how can you sit here and tell me that...
How can you sit here...
That this is all, like, these statistics are all 100% correct.
By this point, she has nothing to go off of, and she has lost this argument, and she is breaking down.
No.
And who the hell let you back on this campus?
What the is wrong with you?
It's a public sidewalk.
So nobody invited you here?
You can't just sit
Officers, if nobody invited him here, can we ask him to leave this campus?
He needs to leave.
Is this being handled? You're a hero? Who the said that? Raise your hand! Raise your hand if you're so f***ing proud of it! Have you ever been raped?
No.
And don't say shit! Then shut the up!
Let me ask you, like, or anyone else, let's move forward.
I actually have class to get to, but
Okay.
You know what? I hope you enjoy this, and I hope that you never get raped because it's horrible.
I hope so.
And rape culture exists, and you're telling me 1 in 1,000? I can tell you that's bullshit.
1 in 1900.
I'm going to show you the math behind this 1 in 1900. I don't know if you got it the same way I did, and I did an estimate of it, and it does come out to be about what he is saying.
See? Do you see 1,900 people standing here? I can guarantee you, multiple people right here have been raped, and this is not 1,900 people. So...
How can you guarantee that?
And if anybody needs TCUPD because they've been raped, good luck, because they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. Film it if you want. Post it if you want. I introduced myself to this man, and this man is saying 1 in 1,900? 1,900?
According to the FBI, yeah.
According to the FBI, 1 in 1,900 people have been raped. I can guarantee that I am not the only one standing here that's been raped. And we are not 1,900. So thank you. And thank you. And I hope you get the hell off our campus.
He kept his cool because the whole time I was watching the actual video, this is what I look like. As usual, I will have my sources in the description box so you can see everything I got in this video. Subscribe to my channel if you like, and please leave a comment. Okay, the best place to start is always at the beginning, as obvious as that sounds. Rape is the unlawful sexual activity carried out forcibly or under threat of injury against a person's will or with a person who is beneath a certain age or incapable of valid consent. Culture is the customary beliefs, social forms, and material traits of a racial, religious, or social group. It's the characteristic features of everyday existence. It is the set of shared attitudes, values, goals, and practices that characterizes an institution or organization, like schools, colleges, or our entire nation. It is also defined as the set of values, conventions, or social practices associated with a particular field, activity, or societal characteristic. Now, rape culture is not real, not in the United States. I cannot make it any more clear than that, and here's why. Morph rape and culture together, and you're going to get a definition like this. These 4 definitions are a combination of the 2 that I put together, so you can understand how serious this accusation is to tell a country, a nation, that it has rape culture. Rape culture would be sexual activity carried out forcibly or under threat of injury against a person's will as a customary belief of a society. I accidentally put the word by in there. Number 2. An outrageous violation carried out by a set of shared attitudes, values, goals, and practice that characterizes an institution or organization. Number 3. An act or instance of robbing or despoiling or carrying away a person by force done as social practice associated with a particular field or societal characteristic. Number 4. Forcible act against someone's will, practiced, endorsed, encouraged, and advertised by a society without care for the victim. Do you guys understand how stupid this sounds? To say that our nation has rape culture is complete lunacy. So ask yourselves this: is this practice accepted and promoted and allowed, or is it condemned, especially by schools? There's rape and then there's culture, but there is no rape culture. If you did not understand me the first time, set this video on repeat and see it over and over again until you understand it, because there is no rape culture. Rape culture. Okay? I think I've made myself very clear on that. And this is what that girl refused to listen to. She was not paying attention. Moving on. I got these from FBI.gov, last taken in 2016. Steven Crowder said that rape is not as rampant as other crimes, and chances of that rape happening is 1 in 1900. Because I'll be doing some calculations, I'm also going to be rounding to the nearest number, so it won't be the exact number that you see here. So instead of the population being 323,127,513, I'm just going to round it to 324 million, and so on. Remember, when it comes to numbers and statistics, nothing is ever exact. It's always give and take, and it's always rounding and estimates. Beginning with population, 324 million. Next to that, murder, 17,000, about. Next to it, there are 2 categories of rape because they have been revised. So one says 130,000, the other one says 95 or 96,000. So murder was less than rape, but look at robbery, about 332,000. Property crime, about 8 million. Burglary, 1,500,000. Larceny/theft, about 5,600,000. And vehicle theft, about 700,000. Let's calculate. You have a total population of about 324 million. If you check out the Census Bureau and stats between genders, women make up about 50% of the population. Keep in mind that's an estimate. So we're going to divide this by 2, and we get 162 million women, about. Now Steven Crowder says 1 in 1900 will have a chance of getting raped. So we're going to take this 162 million and divide it by 1900. To get an estimate of 85,263. Look back at the FBI website. Look what the revised number was, 95,730. In fact, the number will be higher than what I got because I'm sure there's more than just 50% of women in the population out of the 324 million. Now, most of you are probably thinking, well, your math is stupid, you're wrong, and you're off. I told you that these are estimates. And you always want to get to the closest number possible. And I added this calculation to show you this. Look at this statistic. 1 out of every 6 American women has been the victim of an attempted or completed rape. Notice when statistics are taken about rape, it's always both attempted or completed. It's never rape on its own. But let's crunch some numbers. They claim 1 in 6 women. So we're going to take the whole population again and divide that in 2 to get our estimated population of women. And we are further going to divide that by 6 because according to them, every group of 6, there's always 1 that gets raped. And your total is 27 million. Now look at the data, look at the numbers. That is way, way off. And at this point, a lot of you might be saying, well, there you go. You did your math wrong. You don't know anything. Well, now hold on. Don't get your tidy whities in a bunch. The discrepancy was too much for me to just let go. So, of course, I had to look into it. Because I believe that the statistics that are fed to us by the media is blown way out of proportion. So I found this article in Time magazine. According to their survey, the CDC said that nearly 1 in 5 women were raped. Or are raped. And that the CDC study seems to support a radical feminist narrative that has been gaining mainstream attention recently. That modern America is a rape culture saturated with misogynistic violence. And if you keep reading here, it says both critics and supporters of the CDC's methodology note the striking disparity between CDC figures and the Justice Department's crime statistics based on the National Crime Victimization Survey, which also includes the crimes that are not reported to the police. It's worth noting that in the early 1990s, the NCVS was redesigned to elicit more reports of sexual and domestic violence that may not fit the conventional mold of criminal attacks. The CDC study goes much further in asking about specific unwanted acts, but there are other important differences. For one, the CDC survey respondents are not asked whether anyone has used physical force or threats to make them engage in a sexual activity, but how many people have done this in their lifetime and in the past. This wording removes the extra hurdle of admitting that such a violation has happened and thus encourages more reporting. So what this is saying is that the CDC asks very broad general questions rather than very specific questions related to rape. So remember earlier, the girl said that she was raped and then she changed it and said that she was sexually assaulted. These are very two different things. So someone who might have been sexually assaulted would consider it rape. Someone who was attacked would consider it rape. This also goes on to say, but could it also create false positives by nudging people toward the assumption that the default answer is affirmative, especially when preceded by a battery of other questions and statements about sexually coercive behavior. So what does a rape culture not look like? Well, it looks like America. When rape happens, people are angry. Family is angry, neighbors are angry, community is angry, person is angry, victim is angry, everyone is angry. Social media finds out they are angry and they call out. Here's an example. Bill Cosby didn't get away with it, but he's famous, so of course this would make international headlines. But what about not so famous people, like the case of Brock Turner? How outraged were people when he got his conviction? His conviction was equivalent to almost nothing, but the outcry was so great. He got banned from the swim team, expelled from school. Everyone knows his face and name, so a lot of people hate him. Consider his life ruined. And not just that, it went on to call attention to sexual assaults on college campuses. In another case, a former Baylor University fraternity president also was accused of rape. Even though the justice system failed, society didn't. They called out, they cried out, they were outraged, they did something about it. Family was angry, person was angry, neighbors were angry, everyone was angry. Why? Because this is not what rape culture does. Rape culture would never cry out like this. Rape culture would never care, but people care, so they do something about it. Our justice system might have failed us. There are judges who don't even deserve the title of judge because they are incapable of making good judgment, so the people take action instead. And now with social media, we can all do something about it, and we do. So where the justice system fails us, you can be absolutely sure that we're all going to rise up and do something about it. Look at this article. A Washington man raped an 18-year-old girl and got less than 3 years. So it shows that our justice system in some places, it's not working. But it doesn't make it a rape culture because the people will act, and they have. This is what Americans do. They make campaigns about awareness. They have rallies. They have a walk against rape. There are protests. There's awareness raised. And of course, there's a show of outrage and the speaking out. People care. Never let it be said that people don't care. They do. And so you guys can see just how dumb people sound who claim that there's rape culture. Let's take a look at what rape culture really looks like. Starting with a definition I found. A society or environment whose prevailing social attitudes have the effect of normalizing or trivializing sexual assault and abuse. In Lebanon, a rapist can escape punishment if he marries his victim. In India, rape is allowed in marriage. Marital rape is permitted by law in at least 10 of the countries studied by campaign group Equality Now. Legal, including Ghana, Lesotho, Oman, Singapore, Sri Lanka. In 4 of these, marital rape is even allowed when the wife is a child. Here is another article to confirm it. It is legal to rape a child if she is considered a man's wife, even if there are laws prohibiting child marriage in that country. And there is zero protection against domestic violence. Is that legal here in America? No. Do people still do it and act stupid? Yes. But are people going to retaliate? You bet. This article says there is without a doubt a rape culture permeating in the Middle East and North Africa region, in a part of the world where the concepts of honor, modesty, and virginity are highly prized, while shame, immodesty, and sexuality can lead to one's undoing. The stakes are high. In such a social system, rape is as harmful, if not more, to the victim's social standing, bringing shame on the family, regardless of the act that she was the victim of the attack. Often, it is more important for the family to restore honor and reputation than it is to demand justice for the victim. Do we demand justice here in America? Yes. Are people outraged? Is the family outraged? Yes. Do they seek to kill the victim in honor? No. But in places like these where rape culture is something of a reality, when it comes to honor, to do so the family will either carry out an honor killing of the victim or force the victim to marry their rapist. Do we do that here? No. No, no, no. No, we want justice and we seek it. Human rights activists campaigned to overturn a law that allowed convicted rapists to escape their sentences if they marry their victims. Lebanon has taken its first step in scrapping the outdated statute. Article 522 is currently being debated in Parliament. Is this being debated here in the US? No. Egypt has a sordid relationship with sexual assault. Rape rates are high, estimated at 200,000 rapes per year, and sexual assault has been used as a weapon against women gathering at political rallies and protests. Marital rape is not criminalized. In 2014, Morocco repealed Article 475 of the Penal Code, which gave rapists immunity through marriage. Activists have said that much more remains to be done to promote gender equality. Do we have gender equality here in the US? Yes. Anyway, gender equality. Outlaw child marriage and protect women from violence in the North African country. Marital rape has not been criminalized. According to Article 589, in Syria, a rapist is to be sentenced to 5 years of hard labor but can escape this hefty sentence again by marrying the victim. More horrifying is the Syrian crisis, where rape has been used as a weapon of war and sexual slavery was commonly practiced under Daesh. Too many tourists have often made the unfortunate mistake of reporting sexual assault in the Gulf only to find themselves behind bars themselves for charges of extramarital sex. So guess what? If you're the victim, you're in trouble. In Saudi Arabia, the victim is likely to receive a harsher punishment than the rapist, particularly if she violated purda, which is female seclusion. There is no penal code for rape or marital rape, and the sentencing depends entirely on the judge, varying from a light sentence to the death penalty. Do we give the death penalty here in America to a victim? No. Here's a really sad case. The girl of Qatif, the victim, a 19-year-old girl, was gang raped by 7 men. After reporting the assault, she was sentenced to 200 lashes and a jail term. The rapists were dealt lighter sentences of 5 years imprisonment. This Goomba thinks that he said something smart. Daniel Carter is an advocate for campus security. He says while self-defense is an important part of preventing sexual assault, it doesn't deal with the root of the problem. We've got to change our culture of tolerating it, of allowing both stranger and acquaintance perpetrators to re-offend, and having a society that allows it and looks the other way. Dude, nobody does that. Our society does not do that. I have just gone through this video, everything that I could, to help you guys understand that we don't do that here. Society here does not tolerate it. Hence the protests and the walks and the marches and social media and the gathering and the outrage and the outcry and the shunning of the perpetrators. It's just so stupid that these people can say such a thing when in other countries this stuff is legal and they can get away with a whole lot of things. I added these 2 articles to let you guys know that I am fully aware that a lot of things are not fair in this country. Just like I said before, the justice system has failed in so many places, but the people have not. I'm also aware that there are people who don't report these things either because they're afraid or the court will grill them to death or they're ashamed, and these things go unreported. Gloria Steinem wrote that back in the 70s, women victims were still understandably fearful of speaking up, and campuses encouraged silence in order to retain their reputation for safety with tuition-paying parents. It took many off-campus speakouts, demonstrations against laws of evidence and police procedures, and testimonies in state legislatures before most student groups began to make demands on campus and local cops for greater rape protection. But today things took a turn. Reputation is still important, but no one wants to be associated with a campus or a school that allows any such activity. So of course it will be dealt with. Again, if not by the justice system, definitely by the people. And the perpetrators may get away with a light jail sentence, but they will have no place in society because the people will take the matter into their own hands, as they always have. If there was such a thing as rape culture here in America, do you seriously think that parents would send their daughters to these colleges that absolutely allow this kind of thing to happen? Like, hey, send your daughter this way, we guarantee she will be raped. No, that's so dumb. I added this article to just make my closing remarks. Sexual assault or rape seems to be happening a lot on college campuses, especially on the party scene. You guys, just be responsible, especially if you know you're a lightweight. Don't go out drinking till you get drunk and expect that things are going to be all perfect and great and nobody will ever touch you. There are bad people out there and they do not care. They don't care. Laws, rules, or no laws or rules. They will still take advantage no matter what. So be responsible. Have a friend with you. Don't drink so much. Do whatever you can do to have a good time, but not put yourself in a bad position, because those people are still out there who will take advantage of you and they just don't care. So really, it's up to you to take care of yourself, take care of your friends, and watch out for each other, because you can't take back what happens. When sexual assault happens or rape happens, it's done. It's over. Your life will change. And it's not for the better. So I know many will say, well, people know better and it's not my fault, I didn't ask for it. Well, I know that you didn't ask for it. We know you didn't ask for it, but do not put yourself in a position where you can be taken advantage of. Be responsible, be careful. Here it says that there are women who may never speak up about their rape or sexual assault because they're afraid that they may be belittled or disbelieved or denied support, while the perpetrator will be defended over the victim, who is shamed or even blamed for a behavior seen to be contributing to the assault. Make sure you know the difference between sexual assault, attack, and rape, because these are not the same things. Know your definitions, know what happened, be as specific as possible, get witnesses if you must, but there is help and people do care. This is not a rape culture. And I also added this so that we do not forget that even men and boys are also victims of sexual violence.
Educate yourself!